I'm Hannah and I'm the Stylus Director of Schools, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can check readiness ahead of teaching a new text type. So I'm signed into the teacher dashboard here. The view that I'm currently on is for strands, so I can use this button here to toggle between Key Stage 2 standards and statements, which is the Year 6 teacher assessment framework, or I can go back onto strands and topics. The next filter I'm going to apply is for work type. So let's assume that with this class I've got some narrative writing coming up, and before I teach the new piece of narrative writing I want to look at what they did well, what they struggled with on the last piece. So if I apply this filter, this is now going to show me just the RAG ratings across the different grammar and punctuation strands for this class, just within their most recent narrative piece of work. So the top row here is showing me the aggregated view across the class. So the first thing I can do is just scroll across, and I'll notice quite quickly that actually punctuation seems to be the area where collectively they have the most gaps. Looking across, it seems organisation, cohesion, writer's choices are all pretty strong. There are some individual students with gaps, but for the most part this is all pretty green. So I'm going to focus on punctuation. I might have a quick look at sentences as well, as I can see that while lots of students are green, there are a couple of ambers creeping in. So if we click into this punctuation strand, this is with a filter applied, this is aggregated, so this is just looking at narrative writing and just looking at punctuation. So there are a couple of things that stand out straight away. So use of semicolons, punctuation to create effects, so this is deliberately crafting using punctuation rather than just being accurate. Using colons to introduce a list, which isn't surprising as this is narrative writing, so it's probably less likely that I'll see that demonstrated. Embedding subordinate clauses, using hyphens, using dashes. So the next thing I'm going to do is look at this on a by piece view. This is going to show me student by student how they're performing against those different writing granules. So I can see that Hemingway seems to be pretty in line with the rest of the class. So struggling with semicolons, using punctuation to create effects. If I've got any particular students who I know are likely to struggle, I might jump straight to those. So I can just sort of browse through. Let's say that it was this punctuating to create effects that I wanted to focus on. I might just click through each student fairly quickly, so I can see that maybe Henry James seems to be doing this quite well. I might want to use his work as a model, in which case I'll pop out the scan here and I can now actually browse through and look for specific examples of where he is using punctuation to create effects. Again, if I keep browsing through the class, let's see if there's anyone else whose work could be used as an example. William Faulkner, so again we can pop him out. We can have a look through what he wrote last time round, and we can then look for those particular examples. If I did want to check in across any other particular strands within grammar and punctuation, again I can just go back to the main dashboard here. I still have this narrative filter applied. I can have a quick look in at sentences and see how they're performing here. I'll just put that back onto the aggregated view, and it looks like as a class sentences is generally stronger. On that piece by piece view, as I'm clicking through, this adverbial phrases at the end of a sentence seems to be something that's coming up fairly often. So that might be where I decide to focus my modelling when it comes to teaching sentences. So I might look at how we're going to position adverbial phrases in different places, the effects of that, and then possibly look at using punctuation to create effects, which is making me think I could do a lesson around pacing. Perhaps I could do a lesson around using punctuation to speed up and slow down the pace, which would tie in really nicely with a piece of narrative writing.